Right, I want to talk about the fact that it'll never be enough. And this is the message that you're the problem. And we have this every
Me?
couple of months.
It's
yes.
me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. No,
Oh, God.
What you're going to do? Is it me you're looking for?
No.
Oh,
More Swifty stuff. But sincerely, I mean, this story came out, and this happens every couple of months, but I've never seen it more succinctly put that it is now a professional standard in the British economy that you need to go. Sorry, boys. Because as you can see here, non-diverse candidates are not hired without my sign-off, says Aviva boss Amanda Blanc. Miss White over here.
The irony.
Yeah, Miss White doesn't want any whites. Okay, right. But this, could just be taken as yet another story of, like, stupid, out-of-touch boomer executive is like, you know what the problem is? White men. It's like, man, that ship sailed so many years ago.
Why would a British lady talk with an American accent, Callum?
Well, where else do you get this ideology from? I mean, I hate to keep going on about it, but it is Kimberly Crenshaw's work. I mean, none of this has any relevance to the British Isles, which is why it's so weird to see the Irish Parliament sitting around being like, yes, we have white privilege here. It's just like, no, you don't. You're not even white. Shut up. You're Irish. But this story is, could be taken as just that. But I think it's a perfect example of how this really is a professional standard. That if you're white or a man, you just have to go. And if you're both, oh, God. You're just disgusting.
Find
like
your favorite mug
draw,
and beg for pennies on the tube in the street.
Yeah, because she says here, the reason she did all this is to stamp out sexism in the financial services industry, which it's obviously not just about sexism, is it? Because Miss White, the chief executive of Aviva, has said all senior white male recruits must get final sign-offs from her. Miss White, who became Aviva's first female chief executive in 2020, told a parliamentary committee that there's no non-diverse hires at Aviva without being signed off by me and the chief people officer. Which, again, I just hate that phrase, but...
It sounds like bloody Cambodia or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, sorry, we're just not interested in having rightists within our movement. And, okay, that, I think, if I'm not being too hopeful about the past, 2012, I think you probably would have been hounded out of British politics, or fired from your position in industry for that. But now, she said that, and there has been nothing that has happened.
I
She's
wonder.
keeping her job.
I wonder if someone can bring an Equality Act lawsuit against it. That's probably all they can do. Like, we're literally using old progressive law against current progressive action. So we're still trapped in the progressive paradigm. But that's the only way I can see her losing her position at this point.
We could also, spread the word that Aviva is actively anti-white man, at least.
Yeah, I mean, don't have your pensions with them.
Well, yeah, I would refuse to use them.
Right.
I think it would also be
luck.
useful to have people picketing outside, make a big deal out of it, because the worst thing that
Being white is all right.
but yeah, it would be absolute murder to get all of this bad publicity for their investors, their shareholders, whatever. I don't know whether they're a publicly traded company, but either way, it will harm their business.
We work with Nat Western Coots, but the only thing is I was going to say is, well, don't bother paying to a pension at this point, because none of us are going to be able to claim it anyway.
I'm not paying into a pension. I literally can't afford it. So
This is not financial advice.
But anyway, the quote out of here, which is really funny, is they say this hearing in Parliament was part of a review into whether sexism in the city has improved since the previous review.
I love that show.
No, but sort of evidently, yes, the sexism in the city has improved. Now that we're at the point of no men. You just don't want any
that's
men.
the remake we didn't know we needed.
Yeah. Miss White suffered a torrent of sexist abuse. Now, this is her catalogue as to why she's allowed to tell white men to get effed, is that she's a victim,
And therefore, she can punish all white men.
She's a victim CEO. A victim CEO of a massive amount of wealth. Okay. She suffered sexist abuse at a FTSE 100 company annual general meeting last year when an investor said that she was not the man for the job, which is a bit yes, minister. We must always have the right to hire the best man for the job. Here, here, boys. But, okay, I don't care. I don't give a crap. It doesn't justify anything. You're still a terrible person who shouldn't have a job.
It's also a turn of phrase. Didn't necessarily even have to be interpreted as sexist.
No. The guy was literally just saying you're bad at your job, which, I mean, you are, obviously. So otherwise you wouldn't have done this. But she then goes on to whine about I has been victims of many sexisms. She says she flagged misogyny in the Welsh Rugby Union when she was a chairman there. She said that she heard a council member say, women should know their place in the kitchen and stick to the ironing. Men are the master race.
I mean,
and then everyone clapped.
That's so absurd. It's either made up whole cloth or
Andrew
obviously a
Tate.
joke.
Like Andrew Tate is running the Welsh Rugby Union. Sorry, who says men are the master race? It just doesn't happen.
The male race as well.
It was deliberately said to wind her up. I'm just going to put money on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It sounds like she's a right pain in the ass.
Well, exactly. You're so clearly unpleasant. You're an easily offended, hen-pecking midwit. So, of course, people are going to try and push your buttons for fun, because otherwise you're just going to make everyone miserable.
You know the term lolcow?
Yes.
Vaguely.
So it's when someone is so sensitive that you do the tiniest thing to them and they freak out and it's funny.
Right, okay.
So I get the impression that that's probably what happened there, because imagine being that guy in the room. I mean, that is a guy who was shitposting. Who else just sits there with this woman who's known for tackling sexism and fighting her way to the top? And then you just go, men of the master race.
He's just dressed as Ken with a big coat and both sunglasses.
Why else are you doing it? So the immediate response to this story was that someone reported her for a hate crime to the police. For all that's worth. But,
good idea.
You know, it is there.
It's not going to go anywhere.
This person did file a link here, so you can go and check it out. But it doesn't work.
Unexpected error. Yeah, this is going to be wiped. They're going to come and arrest us for even talking about it now, I imagine.
But her herself, she ran away off of Twitter, as you can see. She protected her tweets and was like, no.
I'm sorry, right. If you didn't want sexist stereotypes, your Twitter handle is Amanda's Shoes, and you've got shoes as your banner. I mean, if you were going to try and be really reductive about what women are going to spend all their money on.
Yeah, I mean...
She may as well just have, I really like shopping and cats.
Pretty dresses.
But she is not a person who is anywhere not near power, because as you can see here, His Majesty's Treasury made her the new Women in Finance champion to boost their efforts to reach talented women.
Why does that exist?
Yeah, it was just obviously. Okay, why do any of these things ever exist? And it is money.
I want to
return to the medieval version of a champion where you just get the person best at fighting.
Josh wants to live in Wakanda.
The best women fighters will represent.
Well, Wakanda has a government, so no.
To be fair, I mean, we were joking earlier because we were sat down waiting to go to lunch, and I can't remember who said it, but someone said, wouldn't it be funny if the feminist worldview of how the world actually works was true? Because think about how great Good Morning Britain would be if it was all just like women who looked as good as porn stars presenting every segment. Everyone was wearing like a weather girl dress from Sweden or something.
Callum, I think you've got coon brain.
No, but that's the thing. Like, they perceive that it's a man's world and we're keeping the women down, and it's just like, no, not really.
Oh, grid girl nationalism, basically.
Yeah, so we have a female women's champion, but it's the best at mud wrestling or something. It's just like, it's just not something that really happens. Like, it's so delusional.
Every Tory leadership contest is just fighting in a paddling pool with pillows.
Yes. Just, everyone in their 90. No, not the men, but there we are. So,
I don't know, this day and age.
But the thing being, of course, the exact opposite is the real world case, in which we have people in the professional aspects of industry, one of the biggest companies in this country, just saying, I'm not hiring white men, get lost. And then just getting away with it. Nothing happens. And the thing is, because this is industry standard, if you're a white man, you don't belong in industry. That's the official position of every part of our economy.
Unless it's deep sea fishing, the military.
No, even the military. I mean,
refuse disposal.
The RAF, remember, don't give me useless white male pilots.
Yeah.
The MI5 and MI6 fast track schemes and apprenticeships say that we only want BAME applicants. BBC.
We will literally all be working in the sewers.
To be fair, if you are working for like MI5 and you need to send a spy out to the Middle East, perfect cover would just be wearing a burqa, wouldn't it?
No, clearly Lord Miles of Kabul. He got further than any of the other British government agents, so hire your autistic white man.
We need to put Miles in a burqa, is what I'm hearing.
No, he's actually got a good point, which is if you want to set up a spy ring to infiltrate the governments of the Middle East, literally just have some really charismatic Lord of Lawrence of Arabia types.
Yep.
Just send them all in to make friends. But anyway, my point, I think, can be perfectly demonstrated by if you just look at Aviva for 5 minutes, because this story did blow up and went through the usual circles. But there we are. So let's start with this. Yes, there are more women working there than men. So that gender gap thing, okay, whatever. But they do actually go here. This is the UK pay gap report. I think you will
do this personally, do they?
Yeah, they decided this was our time.
But it's part of it's part of the Equality Act legislation. You actually have to collect this data and work to actively minimize it. Otherwise, under section, I think it's clauses 168, 169, you're liable to lawsuits.
Would be shot with an arrow at 50 paces, as is tradition.
But didn't the EU have an official position that the pay gap is just basically a conspiracy theory?
It's the motherhood gap.
The EU.
Yeah. Because you can see here, of course, women are underrepresented at the very top of earners in Aviva's own statistics, and that's the justification. But I kind of find that funny that even with every aspect of communist-style price controls in the job market, you're still massively underrepresented. And it's like, okay. In fact, you can see the pay gap here being, 25%? It's like, you literally work for a company who the head is some communist weirdo who wants everything to be the same because race and gender communism. I mean, they go on in here as well, the race aspect, in case you're wondering, which is exactly the same thing as going out, except that if you're brown, you're more likely to be at the top than at the bottom, which is weird. Strange that.
I'm sure it's very meritocratic at Aviva, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just obvious that the entire job market in the UK is communist controls on race and gender.
But again, the framing is percentage of employees receiving a bonus. White, ethnically diverse. It is the ummah of the diversity.
The yukma-gamers.
Yeah, anyone who is even slightly pale on the colour swatch is in the capital W white category, and then the rest of the world are against them.
Yeah, for people who don't know what yukma-gamers are, because we haven't actually used that in a while.
No, we haven't. I've kind of missed that.
Because we have the term, so in America, what do they say? They usually say black, Hispanic, something like that, right? That's their categories.
BIPOC.
And in the UK, we went with BAME, which means Black, Asian, Minority, Ethnic. And then they were like, bit racist, saying the phrase that we made up. So let's make up a new one. And they went with United Kingdom Minority Ethnic or Global
Majority Heritage.
Majority Heritage. Which, I mean, just doesn't make any sense. But whatever. But you can see here, if you're brown, you actually get favorable terms in payment of 24% on average there. So, okay.
Your melanin bonus, didn't you know?
Yeah, well, you get a quarter melanin bonus.
Do you have to roll a 20 for that?
I think in the bonuses, you only get 10%, actually. It's your general salary that's 25% higher. So, there's that.
Okay.
So, that doesn't even... Like, we know this organization is running on the terms that it advocates. And you could see it in just any old statement they make. Like, here's the diversity and equality and inclusion bollocks, which you can read in your own time. It's unbearable. But the funniest one being, because every company actually did this, their Black Lives Matter statements, which is just full of absolute madness. And
Can
of course,
you Control F for the word George Floyd, please? Because I guarantee it's in there.
It is there. Of course it's there. Because of George Floyd, white men must die. Says Britain, for some reason.
Fentanyl has a lot to answer for here.
Yeah. She writes in here that Black Lives Matter is a call to action, and we need to all play a role in building a fairer, more just world.
That's a funny way of saying grift.
Yeah. I mean, that is going to be a theme for this. I mean, why does any of this actually exist fundamentally? It's because people are making money off it.
Oh, yeah, CSGs.
I mean, I watched H. Bomber Guy's video recently about copyright, and there's some stuff there, obviously, at H. Bomber Guy is going to be leftist and retarded at times. But one point I really liked that he made, which is he went to this YouTuber who just fell off a cliff and found that all of her videos she was just stealing from other sources and then saying, I said this, and it just wasn't the case. But every one of the people he actually investigated, like every single time, it's just because I can shove an ad read in there. I can get ad revenue off this thing. So they just produce content. And the same is entirely true of the diversity industry. I've made more diversity content, and therefore you get paid money from Aviva here. I mean, lots of money as well, as we shall see.
Well, I spoke to someone who's in ESG reporting, and they said actually the smaller firms dedicate a large portion of their scarce resources towards ESG reporting so that they can get higher amounts of subsidies proportionate to their overheads to compete with the larger ones like Barclays. Like Barclays, for all of their diversity signaling and sponsoring Pride, they don't do as detailed metrics as some local building society. And so, yeah, it's just a fast track up the ladder. It's what you reported on Dawn Butler saying like a year and a half ago, saying that she wants to turn the career escalator into a career elevator for black women and all the like. It's the same with the woke building societies.
They literally did it because, as you can see, she lists how they're doing it. She says she's audited our recruiters to make sure they're using inclusive practices. For some hires, we continue to use search partners who specialize in diverse talent. Unlike the undiverse ones, we need to go. We continue to promote our job opportunities through broader external recruitment channels that are more effective in reaching black talent.
This reads like Calvin Candy in Django Unchained.
Hi folks, we've rolled out a new feature on the website, which is the ability to pay for an individual piece of content. So usually it's £5 a month every month to subscribe to all of the content on the website. But I appreciate there are going to be people who simply don't want to do that. They would be interested instead in purchasing a single piece of content for a lower amount, and they've got a particular niche that they're interested in watching. And so they don't want every single piece of content. They just want this one thing. So we've introduced this function where you can just simply purchase the one thing for £1.89, which I think is about $2.30 at the current exchange rates. and then that's just yours forever. So there's no sort of commitment there. There's no rolling subscription. It's just that one thing. So that's an option now that's on the website. It's completely live. It's completely available. And please go and enjoy it. And we'll see you all very soon.
We need more black talent on the plantation. They've also introduced a license to hire training so that all of our manager and recruiters get extra diversity training before they hire new colleagues. So if you have been indoctrinated, then you're allowed to go out and hire. You get a license to hire.
These recruiting agencies, I don't know if you were ever, because we went to the same uni, if you ever got the post-university graduate scheme emails and they just list a bunch of job opportunities for you. So they just automatically signed you up to them. And anytime I looked on it, it was always, we favor or only ethnic minority, disabled, neurodivergent, and female candidates.
Are you black?
One of my favorite versions of that, a bit of a tangent, is that there was a misspelling of DEI. And it was die.
Yeah.
And it looked like one of your options was to die after you leave.
Well, that is for civilization.
Yeah, you certainly can. They also say they're committed to having at least one ethnically diverse member on the Aviva PLC board by the end of 2021. To that aim, we have announced the appointment of Mohit Joshi as a non-executive director. We have a house bane, boys.
Well, hang on, non-executive director. Does he just sit in the corner in a dunce cap and just get final say on everything?
Oh, he doesn't give a say. He's non-executive. He's literally a house BAME. We have put one of the BAMEs in the corner. Oh, look, boys, we've got one. Okay, Aviva? Like, what? Don't you do pensions? Aren't you meant to be investing my money to make more money? No, you're too busy being like, I own a black person. Okay.
Funny thing is, pension funds at the minute are doing terribly. In fact, some of them are losing money rather than gaining it, which is the entire reason for their existence.
That's because they're doing this impact investment stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Why.
Funny that if you prioritize things other than profit, you mysteriously make less profit.
So,
like Milton Friedman.
Joshy's salary over there to be non-executive director, I mean, that's a drain. But they also decided to run quarterly safe space sessions for black colleagues to help them with external experts.
But safe space? What? So working at Aviva is so traumatic.
Yes.
They have to give
Sounds
therapy.
like it, yeah.
Like, I'm not really sure what they're going to do exactly. Like, if you're black and you work for Aviva, we're going to bring in an expert in you being a black.
Black experts. I don't know what's the qualification for that?
He knows everything about them.
I've been black most of my life.
No, you've got to have a degree in being black. He's black, y'all. And then he comes in and you and him hang out and he goes, this is what it's like to be black. And you go, I know. And then
you all high five and...
Yeah, you both get paid.
Oh, I suppose that's good.
Is it like that? Was it Ice Cube or Ice T did that reality show where he takes a white family and puts them in blackface, and a black family puts them in whiteface and have them live each other's lives?
Have
you never heard about this?
I have heard about it, but it would never happen today, would it?
You would love to do a premium segment on it, trust me.
I want to do it with Aviva. So they also say they've piloted the Brave Race Conversation workshop and provided safe spaces for teams of Aviva investors to discuss race-related issues, which...
I'm sure this is very important for investment.
Which one they hate the most? I mean, what do you even talk about?
Well, that's obvious, isn't it?
They've all... They were just sitting around like, yeah, I really hate the Asians. Well, me, I hate the whites.
Yeah, whites, am I right?
Yeah. They also took part in what sounds like a CCP initiative, the 10,000 Black Interns movement.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah. You want to know what that is? It's these guys. It's a website where they're just like, we will get 10,000 Black interns within a year. I don't know.
It's like Mr. Waternoose. It's like, I'll have 10,000 black interns before I let this company die.
Yeah, literally. They list a bunch. It's like, look at them. Yeah,
wait, hang on a minute. Scroll up.
Look at our blacks.
She's on the left there.
She's black.
No,
she is a black woman.
Wait a minute.
She's as black as you or me. But anyway, they're very proud of this. In case you're wondering why, again, money. There's lots of money in this for the people running it, because why wouldn't there be? What else is the point in showing off local black man Ali Chowdhury, who is...
That can't be
Chowdhury.
Everyone knows that black people have ginger hair.
Now,
that man is playing the game, if ever
we have given some advice previously that if you are a ginger white man, you might consider, not filling in those boxes and ticking the other boxes.
Hello, gold tier subscriber.
My man, Ali. Anyway, let's go and see if we can find any more. I don't know. Okay, it's just Ali over here, who is I want to read his story now, to be honest. And he's just like, I'm black, y'all.
Docs this random guy.
I think the opportunity to present myself for the bespoke scheme as an experience and a dream career He's always dreamed of being black. Good companies welcome diversity and inclusion, such as Ali. Yeah, okay, Mr. Chaudhry over here. Oh, that is brilliant. But anyway, of course, these people are making money off the whole thing. You can actually check out the guy running it, which is this fella, David, or David.
Konati Ahuli.
Anyway,
Hulu.
he used to get paid to actually work for the Prime Minister's office. Listen,
Oh, shock! Of course it does.
it's amazing how these incredibly rich, connected people keep getting rich and connected off grifting.
February 2022 to 2023. So that's under.
It's almost like they're getting this tax money off of people, and then it's just put on the table for lots of people to steal, isn't it?
Well, they also, Viva say they enrolled 6 colleagues into the In-Circle mentoring program run by #TalkAboutBlack. Some more people stealing money. I don't know what.
Is that a hashtag created by a certain clan in the US?
Is that Dylan Mulvaney there?
It's a slightly whiter version. It's the dimension of die. Okay. Like, it's again, like someone got paid to make this website. Someone got paid for all of these different connections they've made, and then all the checks they get from all the organizations. I mean, at the bottom, actually, are those real people or are those stock photos of black people? Like, I'm not really sure.
I thought that was. Is that Tariq Nasheed?
No, it's not.
It's the Venn diagram between like WEF style profile photos and stock photos is just a circle.
Yeah. You can see here the City of London. So, yes, I mean, they are still
City Hive. That's
BlackRock are in here somewhere. I forget.
State Street, of course. Yeah.
It goes on and on and on. And there we are. Money. But back to the commie list, because I just, the end of this is just brilliant. Where they say they're going to start mentoring black colleagues. They don't tell me about what. So just let you imagine.
Why specifically do they need to be observed all the time?
This is how you change the battery in a smoke alarm.
But I just, we spoke about this before, I remember ages ago. It's like, because potentially you can have a white mentor for a black colleague. So then it's just like, we got you one of these to take care of you. There's just some white woman who's like, hello.
That is usually what happens, actually.
You know, having a mentor for a new start is sometimes normal, right? But
because he's black.
Specifically for
only for the blacks. We need meshes for the. They also have mandatory anti-racism training after telling us that all the blacks need mentors.
Right. Okay. So they appoint you someone who's probably going to be racist towards you to the extent that we need to train them out of it, and then we give them to you because you're black, not because you're incompetent.
Yeah. David from earlier, he's getting a position in which he hosts an annual inclusion and diversity training event. So there we are, some more money for him. There's also webinars hosted by the Diversity Practice on Race. Some more people just stealing money from your pensions. And they've also appointed 2 independent external experts on black people to advise them on black people. Which you get, I mean, just why? Why does any of this exist? It's to steal money. What else? I mean, they literally list it afterwards saying they've awarded £4.1 million into donating to, well, this sounds good, the Red Cross and COVID-19 Hardship Fund. That sounds fine.
The Red Cross have been doing some weird subversive stuff recently.
Well, they promised that money will actually be given to brown communities. Over 70% of these donations benefited ethnically diverse communities. So they gave the money to the Red Cross and went, don't be helping any white people now, you hear?
Well, they're just airdropping cash pallets into Tower Hamlets.
It's just like, what do you do if you're the Red Cross? I mean, you're going to take the money.
Yeah.
But you're just going to be like, well, that was a weird request. So they go on. They also say they've donated 15% of their fund nominations to diverse and ethnic minority communities, which, again, not going to tell us how. Trust me, bro. They say we continue to honor our pledge to the Black North Initiative.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. By committing to the removal of systemic barriers that negatively affect the lives of black Canadians.
Are those systemic barriers just white people, are they?
I presume so, because I didn't hear about the massive black Canadian population that were oppressed by pensions. But there we are.
Guess what? There's this thing that falls in the land in Canada, turns it all white.
Yeah.
It's cold and black people don't like it.
But of all the things, like British companies giving money to black Canadians. Why? Just why?
They'd rather give it to black Canadians than white British, by the sounds of it.
And then we also get the...
there we go.
Since George Floyd...
I'll take it off of my bingo card.
Yeah.
Say the words, Bart.
And there's loads more of that. And it goes on. I mean, this is just a Pensions Management Institute page where they're just talking about all the other crap they're proposing. There's an extra 5% of their donations going to black people because, I don't know, just massive white guilt. I don't really know what's wrong with this woman because she's the one running the place. And this isn't even new either. Like, the insane levels of we will remove white people and that's our stated goal. And the reason for that being BLM is just doubly mad. Of course, now that we're over the BLM era, like we have all the receipts. I mean, the Mail Online here with the website. in which they said that they support the nuclear family.
They won't destroy the nuclear family.
My apologies, yes. They wanted to destroy the nuclear family and then deleted it once everyone realized. I mean, there's the tabs that were deleted, but the original page
The
is
trained Marxists that set it up, and they bragged about that as well.
And then stole loads of money. And then now...
They were trained correctly
supporting-
in Marxism then.
supporting Hamas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, okay.
Immediately after the October the 7th massacre.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then all of their supporters, I mean, you can see here, Black Lives Matter grassroots support all this. And then the same woman was the one who was like, what did you think decolonization meant?
Well, that's what I was saying
After the
about
massacre.
the Red Cross. They've set up some of their stations in the Palestinian hospitals, which are also the weapons depots.
Well, they've got to give money to diverse communities.
Yeah,
I
quite.
think gave them it.
Yeah, your pension is funding Palestinian RPGs.
We gave money to the black community. Yeah, I mean, you could buy them RPGs. That is still giving money to the brown community. Like, can I write off donations to Hamas as a tax benefit? Is that
Not in the UK, you can't, because they're a
Prescribed terrorist group.
no? But if I run it through the Red Cross, I mean, I'm just
Actually,
saying.
technically, you probably can't. No, well, yeah, probably.
I just
Charitable
imagine.
donations.
I mean, to end on my point, which is that obviously decolonization means your removal, equality means diverse domination. I mean, this is the explicit position of the British economy, and the fact that nothing has happened to this woman is that proof, if nothing else. But I mean, to make a prediction, because I've just thought of it, a year from now, are we going to find a bunch of DEI initiatives who are actually funding the next ISIS? It's just like, we gave money to the black and brown community of northern Iraq. It's just like, don't say what they did.
We gave anti-air missiles to the Kurds.
But anyway, there we are. Nothing literally will ever be enough for these people. There is no end goal in which you can finally be at peace with the die movement. The clue is in the name. They literally just want you to die. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that is on the site, such as the Epoch series, this episode on Richard I, Part 1. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.